Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickback Presents the All Memphis Post Game Show, where we recap, break down, analyze every Memphis Grizzlies and Memphis Tigers games right after they happen. You don't have to wait for our takes per usual. We got the homie Mase on the line. Mase, how's it going? How are you?
I've had enough of Donovan Mitchell, but other than that, I'm doing well. How you doing?
Donovan Mitchell gave us a lot this weekend. Gave us a lot to deal with this weekend. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 superstar performances from him. It was fun to see. In the first matchup on Friday, we got to see him and Ja just go back and forth, and the Grizzlies claw their way back into a game. Honestly, the first halves of both Grizzlies Jazz games were pretty much the same.
Yep.
And the first on Friday night, the first night of the back-to-back, the Grizzlies were able to claw back into it, came up just short. And the second night of the back-to-back, they just didn't have enough to claw back into it. They pretty much played the Jazz even after like the first quarter and a half or so. But it just, I mean, once you're down 20, that is tough to come back. But hey, we got a Tigers win sprinkled in there, so that's good.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Grizzlies, since that's probably going to be the shorter conversation, since both games were essentially blowouts. Suffice it to say, like, you can definitely see the separation between these two teams. One team is at the top of the West, one team is fighting to get in the playoffs at not the bottom, because the bottom is the bottom, but like a mid-tier team in the West, and you can tell that. I didn't look at the standings, but this could be a potential playoff matchup at some point, maybe if we're in the 8th seed, right?
I mean, once the play-in games and stuff are done, yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
We're currently in 9th, I believe, still ahead of the Warriors and just trailing the Mavs.
Okay.
The Mavs and Spurs, both, I believe.
So it might, but you can definitely see the separation between these two teams. And like you said, it was on display for last night, the first half of last night and all of tonight. Like, Donovan Mitchell had 30 points in the first half tonight, basically. Scoring at will, and Mike didn't
efficiently too. Efficiently.
He like 10 of 12 or something like that in the first half of tonight.
Well, I know last night he had 19 in the first half and he was 8 of 11, and tonight he had 28 in the first half and he was 10 of 12. And the difference tonight was Jordan Clarkson joined in on the fun. He also had 20 in the first half. So just really no answer for Donovan Mitchell. And some people are saying Dylan Brooks got cooked, and yeah, I mean, he did. Like, there was no one on our team could stop Donovan Mitchell. That's true. And sometimes that's just how it goes with offensive players who get it going like that. Because, I mean, he was stepping into threes, knocking them down. It didn't matter. He had it rolling, and he looked like a superstar.
Well, Dylan ain't the only person that Donovan Mitchell done cooked. So it's not like you don't be ashamed by getting cooked by Donovan Mitchell 2 nights in a row, because this is what he does. I think I read a stat. He scored over 25 points the last 4 games or something like that. Let me see that tweet. But that's just what it is. And in the last 6 games, he had 35, 35, 27, 30, 31, and 42. And that's going back. Like, he's been on a tear the last week and a half. So it's not like there's any shame in not being able to stop him. But seeing the difference between the two teams is something. But you do like the heart and the grit that the Grizzlies showed last night, coming back in the fourth quarter and almost winning, having a chance to win that game. Dylan Brooks scored 14 points in the fourth quarter last night, and which looked like they looked dead in the water the first 30 minutes of the game, and then they turned it on, and Ja had 30 last night. Like if there was a game to win, it was last night, because after you played them tough, after they got to a big lead last night, and then you came back, and then you eventually end up losing the game, you knew they were going to come in tonight and try to put you away early, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and I mean, last night was just Ja Morant and Donovan Mitchell going blow for blow. I think Ja finished with what was his final stats last night? You got those?
Yeah, Ja finished with 32 and 11 last night.
Yeah, and in the second half, he was just unstoppable. He did whatever he wanted. He was going right at Rudy Gobert. And I thought the difference from the first half to the second half, one, we kind of fell into being selfish in the first half. We weren't moving the ball. It looked like we did early in the season, where we have those possessions that I hate, where it's either one pass and you shoot, or you just dribble it down and take the screen and that person shoots. So that kind of made us fall behind. But then in the second half, we started getting some stops. Utah wasn't shooting 51% from the field anymore, and we were clawing back in. Ja had some crazy passes to JV, some lobs to Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark was huge last night. I mean, really, Grayson was big, but Ja was the star of the show, just bringing us back into it. And, it kind of shows you the highs and lows in 2 games of going toe-to-toe with the best team in the league with – their full lineup. And then tonight, Ja was really, unheard from, and the team gets blown out.
You can definitely see some of the bad body language from Ja tonight, whether it was not getting calls, whether it's missing shots, or the fact that they just start blowing you out. They had 40 points in the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? So it was almost nothing that you can do.
And the bench was terrible in the first quarter. Justice and them came in. Justice had a bad game. I know I tried to stick up for him earlier in the week, saying, "Oh yeah, he's just missing threes, so his offense doesn't look as good." That was some nerd stuff, man. That was wrong. He has not been good.
My boy has been terrible. Good Lord, he has been terrible. Tonight, I mean, I'm gonna save it for our superlatives, whatever. But tonight, he had 2 shots. It was like, bro. No, sir. And it was especially coming out. Well, talking about the games. Is what you got from the games. We said at the beginning of this road trip, we will probably go 2-2. Ideally, you'll want to go 3-1. So you got Houston on Monday, and you win that game. Houston ended up blowing out Minnesota tonight, which I don't know how that happened. Well, actually, they did not. Minnesota won the game. Oh, that was yesterday. I'm sorry. I'm about to say, Houston was up by 30 points when I looked up. So Houston blew out Minnesota tonight. So okay, there's just a return of the blowout. But you on this 4-game road trip, you go 2-2, and come back home and play the Jazz again on Wednesday. And that's gonna be tough. I mean, the Jazz are a really, really, really good team. We'll see what happens with them when it comes playoff time. But right now, they are a really good team, and we're not up to par with them yet, which we all know. But it was good to see them be able to fight back a little bit in the first game. Tonight, everybody's kind of let go of the rope, and you saw it. And it was okay. Well, let's just get out of here. Let's get out of this altitude. Let's get out of Mormontown, and let's get out of Salt Lake City and get to Houston. How about that? Houston's wide open. So let's just get out of Salt Lake City and get to Houston.
Yeah, and I mean, really, it's just the difference in a team being able to play a complete game and a team, playing hard 3 quarters, basically, is the difference. Because the first quarter and the first halves basically put the Grizzlies out of both games. So and that's what we're striving to be, is what the Jazz are doing. The Jazz, I think Pete and Brevin and other people have said it all year, but they remind you of the Spurs. They just move the ball. And especially when they're clicking and making the right read and play, they've got shooters all around, then they hit you with the roll with Gobert. They're not fun to play against. That is a good regular season team. I'm still not sure how they're going to hold up in the playoffs. But and when Donovan Mitchell scoring 35 on 80% shooting, good luck. Like no one's beating them right now. So yeah, I think you saw that you can play with them when, you know, you see the highs and lows of what this team can be. And like we said, it's a young team, so they don't know how to play 4 quarters. When they do, it's a masterpiece. and we get wins. But not expecting them to beat the elite level teams. We haven't all year. You know, we haven't beat the Lakers, we haven't beat the Jazz. We've caught plenty of scheduling breaks, and hopefully those continue. And we continue to take advantage of those opportunities when they come about. But these last 2 games don't change my outlook on the Grizzlies. If anything, you know, I thought we saw some positives. Like Ja going head-to-head with Donovan was great to see. And he was making spectacular passes and finishes, like Jordan-esque in the air finishes, like not even trying to downplay some of the moves we saw. And Dylan Brooks going, you know, toe-to-toe, ready for battle, making big shots, continuing to play like we want him to play, being efficient and just kind of that 3-and-D, but also can go get you a bucket. Reminds me of Quentin Grimes. I was just watching the Houston game. So all in all,
tonight, Quentin Grimes was shot hunting tonight, and then he was trying to shoot Syracuse out that zone. But that was the thing about Dylan. It was good to see, like, and I mean, we say it every show, and it's getting more and more evident about the importance of Dylan Brooks to this team. The slow start yesterday and the slow continuance yesterday, you can see it through him, because when he started getting it going in the 4th quarter, the team picked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is it's interesting to see the pendulum swing for Dylan Brooks, myself included. I was talking, like, you can go back to the earlier shows and you see how I was talking about him. But you see how important and vital he is to this team's success, and how really you need Dylan to be on almost every night. And when Jaren comes back, maybe it changes, but until then, you're going to need Dylan to be at least 80 to 85% of Dylan Brooks every night for you to get a win.
I mean, you're basically counting on him and Valanciunas to be your solid veteran guys who bring it every night. And Dylan's in his 4th season. So asking a lot of him, no doubt, but it is that time for him to step up. And he's basically the closest of our core guys, not including Valanciunas, to hitting their prime. So it is his time to have big games and things like that. But I mean, we can hop into the superlatives. We can just do both games in one.
I'm gonna tell you this: I didn't pay much attention to the Nice game. I watched the first half, and I was like, "These dudes ain't got it." And then because I was going back and forth from the college game too.
Yeah.
And I didn't write anything down. I mean, last night's game was a really good game. I didn't write anything.
Yeah, it was a really fun basketball game. So I think player of the game, we'll go last night's game and give it to Ja Morant from last night, because that was a really incredible performance. And I mean, obviously, the player of the game for the weekend should go to Donovan Mitchell, because that was fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bum of the game. Justice Winslow. Justice Carl Winslow. Eddie Justice Winslow, whatever you want to call him. Because, my guy, you got everybody in this city rooting for you and trying to be good to you, but you're not reciprocating, my dude. You're not. Like tonight, a corner, not even a corner 3, a wing 3, backboard, straight backboard, shot it over backboard. Then he airballed. Was it a free throw line jumper? Is it free throw? It wasn't a free throw. It was like a free throw line jumper. He just airballed. And I'm like, bro, we are not going to keep defending you. We can't, dog. So like Justice Winslow, you got to get your shit together. It's probably because you're not wearing those stupid clothes no more. You're losing some of your powers. But wear those clothes around the hotel or wherever you are, because we need you to do something, my dude. Because this dude on the offensive end, defensive end, good. Like the offensive isn't affecting his defense, but he has been horrible to watch the last week.
Yeah, and it looks like he's just in his own head now, self-check. So can you get out of that during the middle of the season? I hope so. You know, you
can see it. You can see it on him. Like he's
frustrated. Yeah. So play of the game, I think John Morant jumped over, I think that was Royce O'Neal tonight, just straight up took an elevator over his head and caught a oop from.
He made Royce O'Neal look like an all-star tonight. Motherfucking Royce O'Neal is out here hitting back-to-back threes and getting rebounds. And believe me, I know about Royce O'Neal and what he averages. No, not tonight.
Hey, I mean, he's having a career year behind the 3-point line. I think that's what Pete and Brevin kept saying.
It's ridiculous. He was shooting the jump with so much confidence too. But yeah, I think the play of the game was Ja's lob, and then last night's it was just so many.
Take your pick, just scroll through the Grizzlies Twitter feed.
it was just so many last night, and like we said already, like it was a loss, but it was a fun loss. You saw them compete hard. And and go ahead.
Did you win any money, any Grizzlies money this weekend? I know Kyle Anderson got you yesterday. Kyle's been biting you.
Kyle got me yesterday. Kyle and Rudy Gobert got me yesterday because Rudy Gobert, I said he would get 10 rebounds. He had 7 ending the third quarter. He ended up with 9. So Kyle did not score his 10 points, and Rudy didn't get his 10 rebounds. And out of the 12 things I picked, those were the only 2 that didn't work. And tonight, I know I didn't win tonight, but I don't know what I got wrong tonight. So
and I know it's been fun to clown on Rudy Gobert's defense, but he had us spooked for much of both games, except for Ja and Brandon, who even a couple times Brandon just turned around. But he is a difference maker. As fun as it is, and as popular as it is right now to pick on his defense, it's still it's a force to be reckoned with.
So here's what I did, and I broke one of my own rules. I didn't bet. I do Kyle every game. I do Kyle 10 points and 4 rebounds every game. Said, you know what? Tonight it's been weird. It's been weird. Kyle has barely gotten. I'm not going to do his points tonight. I'm going to give his points to Grayson because Grayson has scored over 10 points in like the last 4 games. He scored like 17 last night, 20 the night before, maybe 9 the night before, the time before that, and like 12 or 13. So I'm gonna go with Grayson on this because Grayson likes to show out against the Jazz because his old team and whatever. Well, needless to say, Grayson did not score 10 points tonight. He scored 9. And guess who scored more than 10 points tonight? Kyle Anderson. Kyle is going to give you 10 points every 3 out of 4 games. In the one game that he doesn't do it, he's going to do like he did last night, 5, 5, and 6. 5 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And I should have just kept with the, whatever. Like you win some, you lose some, but you'll get it when you get it. I should just kept with Kyle. But with the blowout happening, it just threw a lot of things out of whack. I had Dylan Brooks scoring 15 points. He didn't. I think he ended with 12 or 13, something like that. Ja getting 15 points. He didn't. Rudy Gobert scored more than 10. Kyle also didn't give you the rebounds, which he usually gives you either, but that's part of the blowout. Jonas gave you 10 rebounds. While I was doing research for this game, I realized that Donovan Mitchell averages like 5 and 5 in rebounds and assists for every game. Like, it's normally like that's clockwork. He did it last night, but tonight he got you 4 assists and maybe like 2 rebounds tonight. He didn't get the rebounds tonight, but he was on fire. He was nowhere. He wasn't around the rim. And part of the thing about rebounds is, and this is going to be like the biggest nugget that I can give anybody. The thing about rebounds is there has to be missed shots. You can't get a rebound unless somebody misses a shot. And they were shooting fucking lights out. You know what I'm saying? So like whatever. And then I had Joe Ingles who had I took Bogdanovich, what was his name? Bogdanovich? Yeah, I took him out because he had I had him score 10 points last night, which he did. But I took him out tonight and put Joe Ingles getting 4 rebounds, which he usually does, and he didn't tonight. So tonight was just a bad night. To be honest, I spent the majority of my research time and things on college basketball, and that turned out really good for me today. And gotta also understand that I'm speaking in relative in my terms. I only bet like $2 or $3. So yeah. I'm not too mad about it. And usually on back-to-back nights, I'd probably take things down a bit. just because it's a back-to-back. Same team, you kind of get it, you kind of understand. But no money won tonight, and I'm okay with it. We played the Rockets on Monday. Christian Wood, John Wall, they usually know what they're doing, and I'll do the same things I do with the Grizzlies. Ja 15, Dylan 15, Jonas. I'm definitely doing Jonas 15 and 10. I might do Grayson another 10. Grayson might get off on Monday, and then do Kyle 10 and 4. The usual. We'll see.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about some fun stuff. We got college basketball.
Wait. Before we leave the Grizzlies, Friday they had a news conference, and they said they told us that Jaren Jackson will be back by the end of April, which will leave him about 11. According when he comes back, the max is probably 15 games, something like that. What do you think about that?
I mean, there's not much to think, not much we can do about it. Just I'll be ready to see him back. I don't know why they waited so long to speak. They could have avoided all the speculation and just all kinds of stuff, but that's not how they operate. So it is what it is, but it does feel like there was some type of setback. Like I know they're coming out saying like this was the plan all along, but it just, and I know Chris Vernon has said this, and Chris Harrington. Bro, you got some allergies, bro?
Man, kicking my ass out here, dog.
Like they have said that, because Jaren Jackson was warming up right when we won those 2 games in San Antonio. He was on the court warming up without a brace on. And during that time, like he was on the court going through drills like with Ja and stuff, doing his warm-up shooting drills prior to games. And he stopped doing that. He's no longer doing that. They moved him to the practice gym. And we all remember those days. Oh, why is this person warming up in the practice gym? So just definitely, and like the interview with Mark Spears, like they're not gonna let him do that unless he just buck the system, which doesn't seem like something he would do. To go tell Mark Spears of the Undefeated that he'll be back soon, and that's obviously not the case. So what do you think about it?
I think they talked about it. There was probably a set. I think Mark Giannotto said it. He couldn't confirm it because nobody would confirm it for him, but he was just speculating that then knee started swelling. Then his knee started swelling during the workouts, and they were like, okay, well, let's just take some time. I am honestly in the camp where it's not I don't think it's a popular thing, but don't bring him back. Like 10, 11 games left. Like, why? Like, I think I got a sneeze coming. There you go.
So you wouldn't bring him back? I don't know, man. You're the one who didn't want to sit a guy out on a back-to-back.
Well, I mean, I am also thinking about, what's the goal of this season, right?
But let's put it into the parameters. We understand that they're not going to bring him back unless he is ready to come back. Like they didn't do it with Justice, and like they've proven that guys have to be ready to come back. And they don't think there's a risk of re-injury if they play. So let's just go ahead and set those parameters. So you still don't think he should come back?
Well, my concern is more so with the team. Chemistry is the wrong word, but team chemistry. Like, if we're still in the position we are now, 8th or 9th or 10th, which we probably will be, is it worth bringing him in and probably losing 2 or 3 games while everybody figure each other out, that knocks you out of the play-in spot? If the goal of this year, which it was at the beginning of the year, no lie, was just to develop and see what we got, then fine. But as the year went on, and as it is now, and we see we are in play-in consideration and we're in playoff consideration, is it worth almost losing that to see 10 games of Jaren? It might be for the organization so they can see, okay, well, we got 10 games to figure out who needs to be here next year and who doesn't. But I say, kind of like what you say, like, if we want this team to be able to play in some of these big games, like, let them play in some big games, and then we can bring Jaren back at the beginning of next season, because maybe he comes back at 85% himself, which is still good, but everybody else is still at 100, and like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if what you gain is going to be worth what you lose.
You must have forgot what Jaren Jackson Jr. looked like the last time he was on the court, man. This dude gets out there, he's automatically the second best player on the team. He's going to get his.
I know.
He makes us better in every aspect of the game. I hear where you're coming from, but no, and we've been waiting on him to get back to see who else fits around him, and dude, he's too good. He's too good.
I get it. If you can guarantee me that I get the bubble Jaren Jackson from the jump, put him in the game. We'll figure everything else out, because he's
better than Kyle Anderson at like 60%.
And he give me 10 and 4 every night.
Yes. That's him going 3 of the 8 from downtown.
And he give me 10 and 4. Now, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm definitely.
You rather just keep rolling Justice Winslow out there? What are we talking about here, Jamal?
The course
getting worse with Jaren Jackson?
No, not worse. I'm just saying.
Tyus Jones out here ain't done nothing in 3 weeks. We're worried about Jaren Jackson.
You were out here
500 team.
You were caping for Justice, and I was caping for Tyus. And good Lord, how bad do we look? How bad do we look for caping for these bench players who ain't doing shit the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, and the one who is can't get any minutes. I'm not sure what's going on with Melton, but it's obvious that he is the third man in that shooting guard rotation. So we'll see if that ever changes.
I'll tell you this, Grayson better keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's talk Tigers.
Tigers. Hey, man. They looked good today. They started off kind of rocky. First 10 minutes, not even first 10 minutes, like the first 7 minutes of the game. Let me set the scene. The Tigers played the Colorado State in the semifinals of the NIT this morning, early morning, 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock in Frisco, Texas. So that was 11 o'clock here, and 9 o'clock out where you were?
Yes, sir.
Were you up, or did you catch the second half?
Yeah, I was up.
You crazy. I would have woke up at I would have got
No, West Coast is the best time for sporting events. Like, you get up at 8 o'clock, get you some exercise in, do whatever you got to do, get you some coffee, and then it's like 9 o'clock and you just got sports on for the rest of the day. It
took me so long to get used to that when I was in Tucson, because like on Monday Night Football started at 4:30.
Yeah, so it sucks during the week when you're working.
Yeah. But no, man, Tigers looked really good today. They will play Mississippi State tomorrow for the NIT championship. So we'll be doing another show tomorrow after that game. That's the season wrap-up show.
Yeah, they're 4-point favorites against the Bulldogs tomorrow in Vegas and on KenPom. So both project the Tigers to win by 4. Mississippi State's a decent team. They beat Kentucky in the SEC tournament by 1. Not saying much. They beat Florida earlier in the season, Mizzou earlier in the season, and they got the big dude Adu. They got one senior, then mostly freshmen and sophomores. I was just doing a little research on them. But that's enough about them. We can talk Tigers.
Yeah, look, Landers Nolly finished with 27.
After a rough first half, it felt like,
And then DeAndre Mouth of the South Williams finished with, I don't even know what his. Let me look at his box. So I don't even know
21, 9 boards, 6 assists. DJ Jeffries and Damian Ball also had 6 assists. DJ had 7 boards and 9 points. Another solid game from DJ. It felt like he scored way more than 9 points, but he did a lot. Baugh completely. So I guess in the first half, basically the rundown is we jumped out with some energy. Like, I think we were up 5-1, and then started turning the ball over, let them take a 6-5 lead. Then we went on a 11-0 run. And in my notes, I put feels like we can run them out of the game. And I did feel like in the first half, and for the most part, we had 10 to 15 point lead, and then they closed the half on a strong run where they brought it within 6. So at halftime, it was 44-38. Lester and DJ had great first halves, but they had a couple shots late in the half that was just like tough threes, just like good defense, and they made some tough threes. So going into the half, I felt great. Like in one of my Tiger group texts, I was like, Tigers by 15, man. This team cannot play with us.
Oh, they could. I mean, just looking at how the Tigers have been favored in their last, outside of the 2 Houston games, they've been favored in every game they played.
Yeah.
And that just shows you how good they are. Colorado State was a middling Mountain West team, so they should have been more than 4-point favorite against them. Same way like Boise State was a middling Mountain West team.
Well, at least Boise State was ranked. They were ranked in the top 25 most of the year. They just fell apart at the end. But Colorado State was never really that team.
This is what I know about Colorado State.
But I know they were always ahead of us in the bubble watch.
Which is because they played in the Mountain West, and they played teams like Utah State, BYU, and San Diego State, and they had beat San Diego State either once or twice. And that's the reason why they were ahead of them. I know that because San Diego State never covers. But I came into this game knowing like it's not many teams that I don't think the Tigers can beat. The only team like the Tigers beat themselves the majority of every game they lost this year was the Tigers beating themselves. And when they got their shit right, which they did, there's no denying that. When they got right, they were really good, and the only team they lost to was Houston. And those were 2 very close games. If you make free throws, you win those games.
And Houston is on their way to the Elite 8.
Houston's on their way to the Elite 8. Which,
they had the best tune-up. You do scrimmages before the season starts to get ready. Houston had 2 games against the best defense in the nation to get ready for the national tournament.
I also think, and they say, styles make fights. And the thing about the Tigers and whoever they play, it's different in conference play because coaches are used to it. So, here's the bad thing for the Tigers. Frank Hayes got a contract extension. So,
yeah, I was like, dang, I thought he was going to get out of there.
Tulsa's going to beat the Tigers for the next 2 or 3 years. But conference coaches know teams, so they can prepare their teams for it. But other teams don't. And Colorado State hadn't seen the defense as aggressive and as intense as Memphis was. You can tell. Memphis is one of the number 1 defense in the country.
Yeah.
And it was on full display today. And it's going to be on full display against Mississippi State on tomorrow. Mississippi State might be able to handle it better because they play in the SEC and they might have played against some of the same caliber of athletes. But I can guarantee you that even though Colorado State is in the Mountain West, they hadn't played against the caliber of athletes that the Tigers had and type of length that the Tigers had. Lester Quinones, I've been on his head. Great first half. Great game, but great first half. There was an article in the paper earlier this week about the things that Penny has asked Lester to do. More so be more like the Draymond Green of this team than the sharpshooter that he came in projected as, because he is a really good rebounder, especially offensively, and passer, playmaker, play creator. And his offense is basically, his offense might be the third best thing that he does in terms of like offensive rebounding and creating and making plays for the team and just like being that rock for the team. Lester played well. I don't know what's opened DJ's game up in the last 2.5 weeks. I don't know, a conversation with Penny. I don't know. Penny just saying, you get out there and do what you want to do, whatever. But if they had this DJ Jeffries the whole year, this is a tournament team. Like they don't lose the games they lost. So it's frustrating, actually. If I was a real deal Memphis fan, I would be really pissed off because this is the team that you should have seen in January, and you're seeing them in March.
Yeah, that is the bittersweet part of this. As fun as these wins have been, it's like, man, even if we get one win against Houston and sneak into the tournament, I I think that this team could be doing the same thing in the national tournament if the draw broke the right way. And we've seen tons of draws break the right way. Like Houston is in the Elite Eight, and they still don't have to play a single-digit seed. They're about to play the 12 seed Oregon State Beavers. So, and they play today. Who'd they play today? Who'd they just beat?
Syracuse, and they were 11.
Syracuse, 11 seed, and yeah, so they've just had a clean path. Obviously, they earned that with their great regular season, but it is frustrating. But you just got to take it with what it is. Would you rather have this run or a one and done in the NCAA tournament? Because that very well could have happened. So taking everything with a grain of salt and trying to see a positive outlook. This is a great opportunity. We got the good quote from DJ following the Boise State win, talking about next year. People were basically trying to push DJ out, like putting thoughts in his, just putting thoughts out there that DJ wanted to transfer. He's never said this. And even if he did, like, these are 18 and 19-year-old kids we're asking to make the toughest decision of their life at 17 or 18. And sometimes situations don't work out and kids transfer, but DJ has never once, he has looked down, yes, but he's never publicly said he wanted to transfer. His dad hasn't been on message boards super bitching or anything, so I hate that, how we do that. Like, oh, well, he's not doing well, so you might as well leave. Like, that might make him leave. Like, oh, well, they don't want me.
I'm going to tell you one thing. And it's the Team Penny guys are super loyal to Penny.
Yeah.
And so, Alo ain't going nowhere. Dandrick ain't going nowhere. DJ,
and they shouldn't.
DJ might have thought, people might have thought DJ was going somewhere, myself included. And if you ask me, I think he maybe still should go somewhere because I believe Penny's going to recruit over his head with the transfer market. But am I going to be surprised if DJ stays? No, because Team Penny don't lose his guys. Tyler Harris wasn't the Penny guy. Norton made that deal. Norton got him there, and he left soon as somebody else came. So you're right. And I think that DJ said that DJ wasn't talking about himself. I think DJ was talking to somebody else on the team.
Yeah.
I think DJ was talking. I don't know if he was talking to Landers about Landers or DeAndre going pro or Boogie transfer. Those are only three people.
Yeah.
I don't know who he was talking to, but he wasn't talking about himself. In terms, all we had to do was stay together. If this group stays together, because some groups would say, you know what, when we come back, because they already know they stand. They already know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he was just out here like, yo, let me put my bid in the public eye so we can get this conversation going that we need all these people to come back, even those who are thinking about not coming back.
Yeah, and so many of these guys – today was the best game they played all season. But so many of these guys are hitting their groove, and, you got to think that they're feeling like, oh, this is what it can feel like. Like, we can do this. We're learning how to win. We're learning how to play team basketball. Landers was just totally unconscious, and they were looking for him, and they were happy when he was scoring. That wouldn't have happened earlier this season, the extra passes to just get it to him because he was hot.
It was the headband, right? It was the headband.
Yeah.
Was this the first headband game, or if I'm
no? He's worn it. He wears it.
Okay.
DeAndre just once again playing harder than everyone, and yeah, he's super annoying. And I know, especially if he wasn't on our team, he talks and he flails his arms, and Moose is kind of copying him. He flails his arms up and down the court. You don't know if he's happy or mad. But Musa had some big plays in this one. Maybe not still giving you the 5-star production, but you see some of the potential. He's blocking shots and really being a force on the defensive front. And, hey, we saw him finish a pick and roll today and got an and one off the glass. It's lucky, but,
hey, you know what?
It's something to build on.
It's something to build on. You take all the good that you can get. Like you said, this was the best game they played all year. It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch them be happy and playing, and even a hater like me can see the camaraderie between the team that they have, and that they enjoy playing with each other. And so we'll see what happens in the offseason. we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah,
and so
People are transferring all over the country. Like, it's gonna happen. You're gonna lose one or
has
two.
1,000 people in it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't make it any easier that they told seniors they can come back with no, like this.
yeah.
This whole year is this year and next year is gonna be crazy because of what happened with COVID. And what I also thought about with COVID too, with the sophomores, with Lester, Boogie, DJ, Damian, Malcolm, all the sophomores, they haven't really experienced University of Memphis basketball crazed city of Memphis, right? So like they went through all of last year, which was the James Wiseman year, and that season got cut short because of COVID.
Yeah, gut punch as soon as the season started, basically.
Right. So you lose James.
They might have got a small taste, like Memphis Madness, right before that season.
And
small taste.
And then right before you might be able to make a run in the conference tournament, shit's done. And then this year, like you haven't been able to go out. Like think about this. You went to the University of Memphis. I was in Memphis I was back in here visiting and stuff like that during the heyday, I guess you can say, where every time you go down on Beale Street, you will go out to the clubs, you do whatever. You go, they are there. The University of Memphis basketball team is there and is having a good time and are being treated like kings of the city. And they haven't gotten a chance to experience that and to understand like exactly what Memphis State basketball means to the city. And so I would hope that that's one of the things that Penny and his staff sells to them, that when we get back to normal in the fall of this year, as normal as we can be, it's going to be crazy. You're going to have a good time.
Yeah. And I mean, regardless of what happens tomorrow, like that is on the horizon. Like as long as there's not a complete fallout in the off season, mm-hmm. that is ready to happen next October. So, but
we want to encourage University of Memphis though. Like I thought about this and it's almost apples to oranges, but I'm going to say it's the same thing. So in the year 2019, the University of Arizona women's basketball team won the NIT, which was their first postseason berth since I graduated in 2009. It was their first postseason berth since 2005, my freshman year of college. And they won the WNIT in 2019. If the season wasn't canceled last season, they would have made the NCAA tournament and probably would have went pretty far. Well, tonight they made the NCAA tournament this year. Tonight they beat Texas A&M to make the Elite Eight, which is the first Elite Eight in school history for our women's basketball program. And it's the same. Congrats. It's that same group of girls who was on that WNIT win. So like they won that, and they got that experience. They brought it into the next season, which was last season. They got cut short and were ready to take a step up. And then they came in this season super excited, super good, took a step up, and now we're in the Elite Eight. Like that could be Memphis. And like and it don't even take as much because they should have made the tournament this year. But like win the NIT, get you a championship ring, and come back next year with intact or 85% intact and get in the tournament and make some noise. Yeah.
And Penny said it after the game today. He was like, I think my culture is finally here. Like, this is what I want to be. A defensive monster team that also offensively, the guys are free flowing. They're not thinking. They're just using their athletic abilities. Like we see DJ now coming off the bench and he's just hooping. Like he's not thinking. Like even in the Boise State, they kind of got into this where they're just thinking and they're not just hooping. We know that's when Boogie's at his best, and we didn't get to see that tonight, but Boogie still played 30 minutes and, didn't hurt you. He only scored 4 points, but he didn't hurt you. I mean, no one did. You won by 30. But Lester, you were hitting on all his attributes, but maybe his best one is his defense. He's the best defender on the team.
Yeah.
Just versatility wise. And tonight he had 18 and 5. It was the first game since the game at Tulane in mid-December in which he's had more than 10 shot attempts. And Lester is so efficient and a good shooter, and you and I have been calling for it all season. Like, we need him getting more shot attempts and tonight, I mean, everybody was getting good looks, but he got it going in the first half. He had 13 points, 5 of 9, 3 of 5 from downtown. I mean, he's going to be an NBA prospect, not this year, but definitely next year, if he continues to play like he's doing. And I think DJ Jeffries is not far off that list. Like, I know we feel like he's fallen a long way, but he's right there from like just getting it all back. Like, even coming off the bench, and even if he's only scoring 12, 14 points, he's getting 5 assists here. He's getting 6 rebounds. Like, if he's doing that every night, the scouts are going to notice, and this team's going to be winning. And they're starting to get that taste of it. Well, like you said, we'll see who comes back, but. And also Damian Ball. I want to make sure I give him a shout out because the little dude on Colorado State, I can't remember his name, Stevens. He had 3 threes in the first half. He was 3 of 4. He hit some of those ones late that kept it close in the first half. In the second half, Penny took Boogie out right away, basically, and put Ball in. And Ball was face guarding that guard, and you really didn't hear from him again the rest of the game. So Damian Ball, and to go along with 6 assists. And Penny was praising his leadership after the game as well. He's not like killing it scoring wise or anything, but he is bringing a lot defensively. Like, that dude is a monster. He's long, he's fast, he's got good hands, and he's still completely raw.
On this team, you don't need Damian Ball to score.
Yeah,
you need Damian Ball to run the offense in the absence of Alo. And to play dogged defense. And that's what he does. And he does it well. You put him at the top of a zone, the top of a press, and teams going to be hard pressed to get past him. And they have been. He gets so many steals and he gets his hands on so many basketballs because of that. Also, I just said Alo's name. First, the fact that they tried to tell us 3 weeks ago that Alo's injury wasn't that serious, and that he might be, bruh ain't even look close to playing.
They said he was warming up today, I think.
Bruh, he ain't been close to playing. So hopefully he is fine. Hopefully everything's fine with that. There's no real structural damage, and he can come back and be close to what he is or was. It's going to be interesting to see what this roster looks like next year. And we're already at 47 minutes, so I don't want to over talk it, but it's going to be interesting to see what this coaching staff looks like next year too, and what Penny decides to do with that. We can talk about that tomorrow. After the game.
But I mean, even if a couple of right now we got 10 guys, say 2 of them leave, Penny has proven that he can go out on the transfer market. I mean, you got 2 of our best players that he got off the transfer market this year, DeAndre Williams and Landers Nolly.
Right. And what I'm saying, like the transfers that he's getting, because he's going to have like, please believe transfers are lining up to come to the University of Memphis. They understand where we are. Those guys are going to be better than Alo. Those guys, the people he bring in are going to be better than Alo, and they'll be better, maybe better than DJ, or maybe better. And so to see how he handles that, that's going to be the thing. Yeah,
but I mean, he just did it this year too. So, and he's proven that he's not scared to bench Alo whenever he needs to, or any of his team Penny guys. And what's different this year is we also have the number 6 recruiting class coming in to like form the foundation, like the bottom of the pyramid. Like the seniors are the Alo and them will technically be seniors, but they'll have another year of eligibility if they want it. So him, Malco, and Jaden, and then you got those other guys turning into their junior years, and I mean that's when. Basically, you got 2 chances to make a run. Hopefully, you only have 1 chance to make a run with the current group because you got 3 of them going in the top 25 of the draft.
Yeah,
because they're all playing so well together. So
if I'm Jaden, I'm going to South Carolina State with Tony Matlock. I'm going. I played 2 years in high level at Memphis. Now I'm going to South Carolina State and I'm busting some HBC. I'm busting people in the HBCU league.
And he's it's been nice to have him these past couple of games since the rotation's been down to 9 players, and you can just kind of throw him in there, and he is what he is.
He's been solid. You can't. We used to make fun of it and all that, but Jaden Hardaway turned himself into a solid rotational player this season, and it was good to see. You don't cringe every time he takes a shot anymore.
I'll take him on my team for the next 3 years if he wants to stick around. Like, yeah, I would not be mad at it. He seems to know where the plays and just be a good dude. Like, kind of just happy to have him on your team. So yeah, man, I don't have any more to say on the Tigers. Like you said, we talked long enough. So y'all can find me on Twitter at Barnburner Slim. Y'all can find this show in Patio format. Wherever you get your podcast, just search All Memphis Post Game. You will see the graphics pop up. You can subscribe to the show so you get notified as soon as Jamal uploads those audio episodes. And Jamal's going to tell you where you can find him and the show in video.
You can find me at Nerdy McFly on Twitter. You can find the show on the Facebook at Kickback Pod and at Diamond in the Bluff Media. You can find us on YouTube at Diamond in the Bluff Media as well. Yeah, this is the All Memphis Post Game Show, like Mase said, and we will be here again tomorrow night, wrapping up the Tiger season.
Are we doing tomorrow night or right after? Because I think it's another 11 a.m. tip-off your time.
What? God, I didn't know that. Let's do it right after the game. Let's not wait. There's no reason to wait.
Unless there's a close NCAA tournament game on at the time, then we may wait till that game becomes final.
It's Gonzaga versus Creighton, the first game. Gonzaga's gonna blow them out. So
never mind. Yeah.
For those that listen to us for betting advice, stop. And secondly, I don't know what the line is. Gonzaga's a 13-point favorite in this first game. Maybe you bet Creighton plus 5 in the first half. Maybe Creighton keeps it close in the first half and Gonzaga pulls away. But just think about it. I'm not giving you that advice. I don't think I'll be doing that. But
what was the point of saying it?
If you
gave advice not to listen to, that's good. That's great. That's the content that people need.
There you go. With that being said, that is Mase. I'm Jamal. This is the All Memphis Post Game Show, and we are
going to the ship.
We going to the ship.